In the animal kingdom, an entire life can change in a fraction of a second. One moment of inattention, one single mistake in judgment, and a family is broken forever. We like to call it the raw reality of nature, as if those words were somehow enough to explain the inexplicable. But behind every kidnapping, behind every desperate roar that tears through the savannah in the dead of night, there is a mother who failed to protect the one thing she lived for, a mother who is suffering in a way no camera can fully capture, a mother who cannot understand and will never understand why her baby is gone. Today, we go beyond the simple hunt. We dive deep into the most heartbreaking moments ever captured on camera. Those stolen seconds where the innocence of a young animal vanishes into the jaws of a predator, into the talons of an enemy, into the cold darkness of the night. We will witness fatal mistakes that cost everything, impossible rescues that defy all logic, and acts of vengeance so raw, so absolute, they make the entire savannah tremble. This is not simply violence for the sake of survival. This is grief. This is rage. This is love in its most desperate, most primal form. This is the wild at its most merciless, and, somehow, at its most deeply human. It only takes a moment, just one single moment. A lioness lies beneath the shade of an acacia tree as the sun begins to set over the savannah. She has just hunted. Her muscles are heavy with exhaustion, her breathing slow and deep. Her cubs sleep pressed tightly against her warm side, their fur still soft, their tiny paws curled beneath them, their eyes still closed to the dangers of the world around them. She lets her guard down. Why wouldn't she? She is home. She is the predator. She is the most feared hunter for miles in every direction. No animal in its right mind approaches a resting lioness without paying for that decision with its life. But on the savannah, there is always a shadow watching. Always. Hyenas do not hunt on pure instinct alone. They are far more calculated than that. They observe, they study routines, they wait, sometimes for hours, for the window to open. That one precise second when vigilance falters, when the eyes grow heavy, when a mother's attention drifts just far enough. They are masters of patience and masters of the fatal moment. They have survived millions of years not by being the strongest, but by being the most opportunistic. And on this particular night, they found exactly what they were waiting for. In a movement of terrifying, almost supernatural speed, a hyena tears through the darkness. It does not attack the lioness. It does not seek a direct confrontation. It doesn't need to. It takes. It locks its jaws around the lion cub with cold, surgical precision, and before the mother even has time to process what is happening, before her brain can send the signal to her legs to move, the kidnapper is already swallowed by the night. A flash of movement, a muffled, heartbreaking cry, then silence. The kind of silence that feels heavier than any sound. The lioness explodes to her feet. Her roar tears across the open plain, and it is unlike any roar you have ever heard from a predator. This is not dominance. This is not a warning. This is the sound of a mother. Raw, broken, desperate, inconsolable. She runs in the direction the hyena disappeared, her paws hammering the dry earth, but there is nothing left to chase. The darkness has swallowed everything whole. Her cub is gone, and the night gives nothing back. On the savannah, a kidnapping is never just a loss. It is the beginning of a war. But not every mother stands frozen in the face of horror. Some refuse completely, furiously, with every fiber of their being to let the story end in silence and surrender. And those mothers remind us of something important, that nature is not only cruel, it is also capable of a courage so fierce, so irrational, so breathtaking, that it humbles everything around it. Take the eagle mother. Her nest is perched high above the ground, supposedly safe, supposedly unreachable. But a snake, patient, silent, relentless, has found its way up to her chicks. Most birds would retreat. Most birds would circle above and cry out helplessly while their young are taken. Not her. She dives without hesitation. She strikes again and again, using her talons like weapons and her beak like a blade, putting her own body between the predator and her chicks. The enemy is venomous. One wrong move and she dies. She does not care. Her chicks are in that nest, and as long as there is air in her lungs and fire in her chest, no creature on this earth is going to touch them. Think also of the wild dog, snatched from the safety of his pack in gray daylight, right in front of the family that would have died for him. African wild dogs are some of the most socially bonded animals on the planet. They hunt together. They raise their young together. They do not leave their own behind, not without a fight. What the pack does next is one of the savagest, most emotionally charged rescue attempts ever recorded on film. A reminder that in the wild, loyalty is not a human invention. And then there is the mother leopard, perhaps the most heartbreaking story of all. She watched her cub being taken. She knows somewhere deep in the cold logic of her instincts that the battle may already be lost before it has truly begun. The odds are against her. The predator is powerful, and still she fights. She fights until her legs shake beneath her. She bleeds, she stumbles, she gets back up. She charges again, not because she is certain she can win. She knows she may not, but because her cub deserves to know, in whatever awareness it has left, that it was not abandoned, that its mother came, that someone fought for it until there was nothing left to give. That is what sacrifice means in the wild. Not a calculated decision, not a rational choice, just love, fierce, irrational, unconditional love expressed through every last ounce of strength a body can produce. But what happens when the kidnapper is finally found? What happens when grief stops being a wound and becomes a weapon? That is where nature shows its most visceral, most unforgettable face. An elephant does not cry the way a human does, but anyone who has watched an elephant grieve will tell you, the emotion is real and it runs deep. When a pride of lions kills an elephant calf, they believe the interaction is over. They fed, they survived, the natural order has played out. That is how it works. But they have made a catastrophic miscalculation because the father remembers. He comes back. He finds the tracks. He follows the scent with a focus that is almost frightening in its intensity. And when he finds the lions responsible, what follows is not a chase, not a skirmish. It is retribution, deliberate, devastating, and total. The elephant has suffered a loss that cannot be undone, and the lions, in those moments, absorb every pound of that grief. There is no mercy, there is no hesitation, there is only the settling of a debt that was written in blood. Then consider the hippopotamus, an animal the world consistently underestimates. Its round body and slow movements give the impression of passivity, of harmlessness, of a creature content to float through life undisturbed. That impression is a fatal mistake. The hippopotamus is one of the most powerful and most dangerous animals on the African continent. And when a group of lions crosses into its world and takes from it what cannot be replaced, the hippo's response is unlike anything else in nature. It is not just strength, it is fury with memory behind it. The lion that targeted his family will not make that mistake a second time. This is not instinct running on autopilot. This is emotional fire. This is grief that has had time to solidify into something harder, something colder, something that does not stop until the debt is paid in full. When the wrong line is crossed in the wild, the price is never negotiable. The kidnapper was merciless. The vengeance is absolute. Nature is beautiful, genuinely, breathtakingly beautiful. Its golden sunsets over open plains, its massive migrations crossing entire continents, the delicate balance between species that is held together for millions of years. All of it is extraordinary. All of it deserves to be witnessed and respected. But nature is also merciless, without exception and without mercy, for any creature that walks, flies, or swims within it. It does not forgive errors. It does not reward love. It does not spare the innocent simply because they are innocent. Every day, in every corner of this planet, a young animal takes its final steps into a world that is not waiting to protect it. A mother returns to find silence where there was once warmth. A father searches through the darkness for something the night has already swallowed whole. Every kidnapping captured on film is a brutal, honest reminder. Survival is a gift. It was never a guarantee. Which of these moments hit you the hardest? The lioness screaming into the dark for a cub that will never come back? The elephant returning not to mourn, but to act? Or the mother leopard fighting a battle she knew she was losing because walking away was simply never an option? Tell us in the comments below. We want to hear from you.